welcome to another weird run, because that's seemingly all we do. Alright, so here's the deal. If anyone has not heard of this particular thing, the OB64 guide is apparently atrociously written. I don't know, I don't know exactly what's wrong with it, but apparently so much of it is wrong that it's completely hilarious. So, the idea... I've never read this guide. I've flipped through it a little bit to look at what they did for the art and everything, but I haven't actually read the thing, so I don't know what's in here. I will say the little preview on the top right there, it's mostly just going to be there for the sake of being there. A lot of the writing in this thing seems incredibly tiny for some reason, so yeah, we'll kind of just play it by ear here, but I'll read out everything as it says, how it says it, etc. And alright, without any further ado, let's get this train wreck rolling. So, first order of business, as I was saying last time in the previous attempt to get this started, apparently first step is playing Persona 2. I played 3 and 4, apparently 2 is pretty good. Good for them. Anyway, moving on. So, let's see here. Yeah, let's see, we got an introduction, we got the cast of characters, we got the character basics, character classes and enemies, items, battle tactics, prologue, the 3 chapters, the final chapter, because apparently it can't be chapter 4. Also, apparently my bitrate is garbage. What's that about? Hang on. I just noticed for some reason the thing is apparently streaming kind of crappily. I might have to make a couple quick adjustments, but anyway. Alright, so from there we got maps, character classes, and then events and extras and things. So hopefully we won't have to hop back and forth with the different events. Alright. So first off we got Mr. Andre from Dark Souls over here. So, story of OB64. Long ago, a race of people called the Oryx, were led by the progenitor with the power of the earth goddess Birth. The progenitor drove away the indigenous people who ruled the Oryx, claiming the land for his own race. The Oryx rejoiced, and then apparently went to go hang out in Final Fantasy X. The indigents bowed their heads to their new ruler. The new kingdom was called Palatinus. In the Palatinian year 238, the rule of the Holy Lotus Empire dispatched the Brigade of the Radiant Cross to nearby countries. This group of powerful knights was ordered to attack those who rejected the teachings of Lotus and its god. The first target of the Brigade of the Radiant Cross was Nerdum, adjacent to Palatinus. Nerdum declared war against Lotus, but was quickly defeated. The Brigade of the Radiant Cross moved on to Palatinus, while King Procus put up an initial struggle. The fate of Nerdum was still too fresh in his mind, and he quickly surrendered. Yeah, I believe they mostly cover that in the intro, although it kind of makes it sound more like he just took one look at that and was like, nah, I'm out. Oryx or orcs, coincidence? I mean, these are supposed to be people. Maybe they were orcs that turned into people. People can turn into ogres in this series, so why not? Anywho, so... His quick retreat from the battle allowed him to maintain his position as king and retain his autonomy. Again, just funny note is that both Knight of Lotus and OB64 were made by a different team than the others, and both of them are the ones that start off with countries that manage to maintain autonomy. So, Lotus then turned its attention to the southern region of Palatinus. Here, the lower classes, including the Balmoccan people, rebelled against the authority of the Lotus Empire. While they fought bravely, they were unable to stand against the powerful warriors of the Brigade of the Radiant Cross, probably on account of them actually wearing armor. Lotus established its religion across the land, banning all others. It instituted its class system, rewarding their nobility and placing terrible burdens on the lower classes. But now the situation has come to a head. 10 years of oppressive rule by the Holy Lotus Empire caused the people of the southern region to rebel. While terribly outnumbered, the people now fight for their freedom. Wars once again come to Palatinus. Alright. And, how to use this book. Check out this dude's other arm. Alright, by the way, how are we doing on sound? Is it acceptable, or is it god-awful like last time? 'Cause I think I need to turn this down a little bit. Like, I will say this intro music is freaky loud for some reason. So if I'm getting completely drowned out, please do let me know. Anywho. So, how to use this book? Ogre Battle 64 contains a number of pathways to the end. While the story changes depending on some decisions you make and actions you take, the missions are the same. Not always, but anyway. This book follows one possible storyline and offers hints for all missions and variations of the missions contained in the game. Additionally, the book covers all of the major characters, the different character classes, and the items you can find, and the monsters you'll fight. There wasn't an and in that previous sentence. My bad. So, maps for each of the missions are provided, as well as the locations of all the hidden items in each of the maps. Finally, there's information on how to get extra items and events. Ensure the book contains everything you need to go from start to finish and ultimate victory. It is time for battle. Neato. Always gotta love, like, the cringy little taglines they shove in there sometimes, like, oh, it's battle time and all that. Alright, so, let's take a look at the art here. So, the cast of characters. Ogre Battle 64 contains hundreds of characters you will have as part of your army. Create your army and encounter along the... Wait, what? Or create from your army and encounter along the way. Technically correct, though weird wording. Because, I mean, you have your basic soldier grunts that turn into real characters, but whatever. Most of these characters won't play a significant part in the story. Also, wait a minute. Isn't your maximum character amount like 64 or something? Can you actually get to hundreds? Whatever. Anyway, so others will be a large part of your success, or will face you time and again across the battlefield. Oh, Braxton, what on earth are you doing? Sorry, my dog just went and tried to take a nap on a thing that fell on top of him. Brilliant. Anyway, so Magnus Gallant. This is you. Magnus is the son of a nobleman, Ankesith Gallant, and the childhood friend of Prince Eumel Durmer. What is he, Dutch? Longing to make his own way in the world, Magnus decided to enroll in the military academy and become a soldier. He felt he was living in his father's shadow, so he did the same thing, and needed to prove something to himself. Magnus is a very strong warrior, and if he's killed in battle, you lose. Okay. Also, interesting note, for some reason they're wearing their sash, like, instead of... I never really realized that it, like, went from the back around and somehow came up on top of itself again. I'm pretty sure it's probably legit. I'm just kind of a weird observation. Anywho, alright, Leia Silvis. Leia is the daughter of... Oh, wait, hang on. Voice is over the game sound. You can get 200 soldiers. Does that count? I mean... I guess technically they can eventually all evolve into real boys. I don't know. Anyway, also I just noticed that I never... Okay, so I should probably mention the art is like all over the screen here, so you can see details you wouldn't normally see. What is her getup exactly? She's got like a sort of jester skirt going on beneath a kilt with like a chain belt across it. Except it's like a bladed whip situation. It's interesting. Anywho. Leia's daughter of Lord Silvis and ruler of a northern area of Platinus. Like Magnus, she felt she had something to prove, so she decided to go on a military career. Unlike Magnus, though, her desire to prove her own worth comes from the fact that her father tends to protect her too much from the real world. She's a powerful fighter and one of the few capable of leading a legion. Technically anyone can, but we'll get to that. Alright. Diomedes Rung. I don't know if it's Rung or Rangu or... I was pronouncing Rang. Alright, so, a hot-headed soldier out to prove himself despite his low origins. Dio is aggressive and often angry. He is... You know what? I have to assume they were really convinced to put that one finger that was... Like, if you look really close at the art here, all the other fingers are looking normal, but the one that's pointing up kind of looks like it was photoshopped on there, which kind of makes me wonder if he was originally flipping somebody the bird. Anywho, alright, he is convinced that he doesn't get the credit that others do because of his non-noble birth, and is willing to fight anyone to prove that he is that he is as good or better than any noble. In a pinch, though, Dio is fiercely loyal and dedicated to whatever cause he sees fit to follow. Like Leia, Dio is one of the few characters who can learn to control a legion. If only they were as good as their advertising. Also, that hilt on that sword is gigantic. It's gonna be like slamming his elbow if he ever tries to block with it. Alright. Hugo Miller, the Master of Bridges. Well, it doesn't say that, so already the guide is completely wrong. The calm and steady presence of Hugo Miller, or Hugo the Tactician, or Master Miller, apparently, has saved more than one battle. The former soldier has has learned everything he can about battle strategies and tactics. This is a good thing, because he's your advisor before every one of your missions. Listening to Hugo's advice pays off. He's been to most of the places where you're going, and he's seen it all on the battlefield, including every bridge. The guy's all about those bridges. Alright, hang on. Eumel Dolmaire. Wait, what? Hang on. Yeah, why is he Dermer up? By the way, can you see my cursor? Yeah, you can. Okay. He's Umel Dermer up here, but apparently he's Umel Dolmaire over here, so we'll just chalk that down to English, I suppose. Anywho, the frail youngest son of King Procus Dolmaire, Umel has not had a particularly easy life. His father hates him because the queen died giving birth to him. The prince has always been smaller than most, and more prone to giving up easily. His one true desire is for the power to remake the world the way he wishes it could be. Umel is the childhood friend of Magnus Gallant, and the two are very dedicated to each other. Dedicated. Anyway, Ankaseth Gallant, the... Holy crap, this dude's got armor on armor on armor. Like, he's legit got a shoulder pad with another shoulder pad ratcheted on top with like a kind of flattened one put on top of there with another another shell pad on top of that. Man, dude's got defense for days. God only knows how he can move, but it's there. Alright, let's see. Dio is the main killer in my army. His squad took out everything in the last 3-4 missions. Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, were you, actually, come to think of it, they start off with their good scaling early on, don't they? I completely forget, I thought Leo and Dio, or Leah and Dio, get their upgrades the same time that Magnus does. Or at least halfway through, don't they? Yeah, they have a second, but they don't have a third, right? Does that make sense? Dude gets nutso. Right. Father of Magnus Gallant, Ankaseth the Gallant has an interesting history. He is called by some Ankaseth the Steadfast for his complete loyalty to the throne of Platinus. Others call him Ankaseth the Murderer because he once killed a nobleman who was trying to assassinate Prince Umel. I mean, spoilers, they kind of have that as a reveal later, but sure. Ankaseth did not object to the stigma, and the incident caused a rift between his great general, or between this great general and his son, but Ankaseth will not let anything stand in the way of his duty to protect Prince Umel. But that does stand in your way to do it, because nobody wants a friggin', murderer as their bodyguard. A little bit of a side note, by the way. For some reason, Magnus seems to be the only one that believes in gloves. Actually, I guess Leah, too. Magnus and Leah, are they the only ones that actually wear gloves? Maybe I'm just observing nothing, because then I guess Destin does, too. Sorry, I'm just curious about gloves all of a sudden. So sweet. Jesus, Baldwin, that sword. Yeah, no, most of the dudes in armor just don't like gauntlets for some reason. Alright. Procus Dolmaire, who apparently we're sticking with Dolmaire now. So, King Procus still lives and rules in Platinus because he quickly realized that his troops could not stop the conquering army of the Holy Lotus Empire. Rather than fight, Procus surrendered, and he was allowed to retain his throne and certain amount of autonomy over the people of his land. While on the surface he appears to be the pawn of Lotus, underneath he truly wishes to throw off the yoke of Lotus and reclaim his kingdom in more than just name. Then Destin Froda. Destin is a warrior who became involved in the uprising of Zenobia. Destin helped free these people from the oppressive Zetagenian Empire. I guess they were officially that by that point. When he discovered the current situation in Platinus, particularly the oppressed people of the southern region, he moved in to help them achieve freedom. He starts as a vicious and deadly enemy. What? No, he doesn't. But over time, he becomes your most trusted ally. It's out of your own army. Again, no, he doesn't. But, okay. I mean, he starts off as, like, mysterious dude guy that doesn't want to fight you and leaves. And then he becomes dude guy that joins you with a big sword. So, I mean, let's see, no gloves. The calluses should block incoming attacks. This is true. That's the way to make it happen. But yeah, I'm curious what other people's take on this. How accurate is that description? That he starts off as vicious and deadly as your worst enemy. He's technically an enemy, just not directly. Yeah, like, I didn't see anything remotely vicious. It's like, they got one guy that's trying to cause a distraction, and then almost immediately afterwards, they're just evacuating. That doesn't sound like deadly and vicious, but okay. Frederick Raskin, although funnily enough, apparently he doesn't get a capitalization for his first name. I'm not sure why, but okay. The aging knight sees nothing but injustice in the social system of the Holy Lotus Empire imposed on Platinus. Funnily enough, I was going to say, unlike the other knights, he doesn't wear armor, but, 15th century, okay, sure, wants to be a noble guy. Still looks like a train conductor, but why not? While Frederick doesn't want to do away with the nobility or the royal family, he sees nothing but problems stemming from the caste system. His wish to eliminate the social problems and his desire for independence from Lotus make him one of the prime leaders of the current revolution in Palatinus. And Ceridan Karm, the guy who just discovered the ground. This aged warlock is one of the prime reasons the revolt against the Zedazgenian Empire was successful. By what frickin' measure? He was a bonus character. Okay. One of Dustin's bravest warriors and firmest supporters is like, hey, I was a statue, now I'm not. Ceridan has incredible wisdom and experience. Lotus's control of Platinus caused him to continue to fight alongside Destin as the Palatinian people battle for independence. In time, Ceridan may wish to join your army as well. Yeah, I'm curious, did I miss something? Like, I know I missed a lot of stuff in March of the Black Queen because there's just so many scenarios that can play out. But under no scenario that I've seen the guy have they ever been one of the main reasons the thing was successful. If anybody's got any feedback on that, let me know. All right, Baldwin Glendale. One of the most significant enemies you will ever face is the terrible Baldwin Glendale. I don't know, but he's definitely one of the most foul-mouthed. A powerful knight in the Caliginius Order, Baldwin is one of the most influential people in the Holy Lotus Empire. Oh wait, no, that's Baldwin, not I'm thinking of the other guy. Sorry, never mind. I'm thinking of the where the hell is he? Do they not have the cussing guy? Who's the cussing guy? Why can't I remember his name right now? See, Ceridan is essential to the best endings of March of the Black Queen. I think you're intending to get him, but he's missable. I mean, I know I've picked him up once, and then he was just like, he's just sort of there. I mean, granted, I haven't gone for all the endings. I usually just start going for an ending and then forget, and then just kind of go with whatever happens. Because, I don't know, it's just the moment-to-moment stuff always feels kind of fun in that one. Anywho, so, Baldwin's one of the most influential people, yada yada. See, he feels that he lives under the shadows of his older brother and father, which has made his quest for power all the more important to him. He may feel inferior, but he won't think he is when you face him on the battlefield, and he's got the crazy pointy sword. How does that even... That's such a weird-looking thing. It's a cool design, don't get me wrong. I just don't really get what your goal is with that. I forget if it shoots lasers. It probably shoots lasers. Anyway, Richard Glendale, the only person more difficult than Baldwin Glendale is his older brother, Richard. The only person more difficult? Have they never seen a Sphinx while making this guide? I guess that's not a person. I mean, they've got a face. Does that make them a person? I feel like it probably does. Alright, so known as Richard the Dragonheart because of his valor and deeds of bravery, Richard is a true knight in every respect. Deadly on the field of battle, he lets nothing stand in the way of him getting what he desires, except for getting assassinated. Richard is the leader of the Caliginius Order and a lord of the Lotus Empire. He is the most deadly enemy of all because he has no serious flaws on the battlefield. Okay, weird description, but sure. Why not? Okie dokie. Now, let's... I think we're almost ready to start the game at some point. Yeah, there we go. 2 more pages. Okay, so, character basics. How combat works. Characters in your army have several basic statistics that determine how well they attack and defend against physical and mental attacks, and what elements will help or harm them. When characters rise in levels, these statistics improve, and certain items you can find will improve or change these statistics as well. And then the letters get even smaller. Come on now. Characters are ranked in 6 basic statistics: strength, vitality, intelligence, mentality, agility, and dexterity. Strength and vitality both deal with physical attacks. High strength give your characters a better chance to hit and score damage in combat. What? That should be an agility and dexterity thing, but okay. Kind of assuming off other games in the series. I don't know for 100% that that's true, but I feel like that's probably it. High vitality means they take less damage from physical attacks when they're hit. Intelligence and mentality are similar to strength and vitality, except that they deal with magical attacks. Characters with a high intelligence do more attacks with magical attacks, or more damage with magical attacks, while those with a high mentality take less damage from magic attacks as... Wait a minute. Unless mentality works different in this one, mentality should be like a 50-50 split. Anyway, agility and dexterity deal with the ability to escape physical damage entirely. Both help characters avoid enemy attacks, and they also help determine who attacks first in combat. Makes sense. Alright. Alignment. Characters also have an alignment that ranges from 0, chaotic, to 100, lawful. Most characters have an alignment requirement for most character classes. Sorry, it's just really tiny. For instance, for a male character to become a wizard, his alignment must be low, while knights require high alignments. Alignment can change during battle according to what your characters do. Fighting against lawful enemies and enemies of a lower level makes a character more chaotic. Fighting chaotic or higher level enemies makes them more lawful. Neato. Alright. Elements. Every character has an element that protects him or her. The 4 basic elements are earth, air, fire, and water. Characters protected by fire, for instance, take less damage from fire attacks. Additionally, if he or she equips an item that is fire-based, its effects are generally increased, or greatly increased. This also has a negative side. Each element also has an opposite. Fire and water are opposites, as are earth and air. Characters take more damage from an opposing element because their defense against it is lower. A character who is protected by earth suffers more from wind than another character, or if he or she equips a wind-based items, its effects are decreased. Okay. Alright, creating your first army. At the beginning of the game, you are asked a series of questions. Okay, we can go ahead and start it. Start the dang game! Stop listening to the new game theme. Alright, at the beginning of the game, you are asked a series of questions that determine the shape of your initial army. While you can answer the questions however you wish, you can also plan your starting army by picking specific answers to these questions. Oh, hello, phone. Oh, neat. Alright, you command 6 groups in your first mission. Do you, though? Is it actually 6 groups? It might be, and we'll see. Your heroes group always consists of the hero, 2 fighters, and 2 Amazons. You also always have Dio's group, which is made up of Dio, an Amazon, and 3 fighters. The other 4 groups can vary. Here's how it works. Each of your answers to the questions has value in 4 different categories: fighting, magical, spiritual, and training. Alright. The scores in each of these 4 categories are added together, and the category with the highest total is assigned to your top priority and gives you your first unit. 32 points are then subtracted from this category to determine your second priority and your second unit. Again, 32 points are subtracted from this new top priority to determine the third priority and the third unit. It happens once more to determine your final priority unit, and in the case of ties, priority is assigned to the order of fighting, magical, spiritual, trading. That is weirdly specific. I'm a little bit surprised that even went into the guide, because who will ever need to know that? Like, that feels like it'd be too specific even for speedrun training, but... oh well, moving on. Okay, so the questions. After you input your date and birth, you are asked 6 questions to determine your starting army. The possible answers and their scores are below. Okay, out of curiosity, what does it... let's see. I'm curious if these actually give the right answers. Yeah, no, they do have the option to offer the gods lust. It's spiritual training, apparently. Oh man. Okay, this is fun to look at. Yeah, fighting is rule. What do you hold in your sword is fighting magical, apparently. Any dang ways. Let's see. Okay, so what do we actually want to get here? It doesn't tell you a specific thing to go for, so I suppose while we're going over this, we need a name, because we're just going to go with guide if nothing else. All right. So if anyone's got a name in mind, feel free to throw it out there. So the units you receive based on these questions are listed below. So first priority. If your first priority is fighting, you get a knight, 2 fighters, 2 soldiers. If you get spiritual, you get a sorceress, 3 fighters, and a soldier. If it's magical, you get a cleric, 2 Amazons, and 2 soldiers. I kind of feel like spiritual and magical should be flipped there. Because, yeah, why is spiritual the sorceress while the actual healer is under magical? Anyway. Training is Beast Tamer, 2 fighters, 2 soldiers. And then second priority fighting is an archer, Amazon, 3 soldiers. Ooh, okay. You know what? We want second... Ooh. Why are all the second priority ones more interesting? Because, yeah, second priority is an archer for fighting, a witch for spiritual, a fencer for magical for some frickin' reason, and then Dollmaster for training. Again, I feel like they got those mixed up. Do they not know what magical means? Guide, Booker, or Prima. I kind of... Dang it, those are all good, though. See, if there was more, like, more time shenanigans in this one, I'd probably go with Booker. Prima does sound... Wait, what if it's... Guide and the Order of Prima. Yeah, that works. Yeah, let's just go with that. I feel like when we do the same one for Tactics Ogre PSP or the original, that's when we'll have to go with Booker because we've got all the time shenanigans. All right. All right. Anywho, moving on here. So next up on third priority, we've got Berserker for fighting, Sorceress for spiritual. Why do they think the Sorceress is spiritual? Magical for the Valkyrie, fine. But again, I feel like Valkyries would be more spiritual than magical, whatever, screw it. And then you got Dragon, Tamer for taming, that one makes sense. Like, I think the reason they have Dollmaster in training is because it's supposed to be, you know, this guy trains golems. But, again, it's like Fencer is the beginning Swordmaster, they're training while the Dollmaster is kind of, you know, magical. Would figure, anyway. And then fourth priority, so we've got Phalanx for fighting, we've got a Wizard for spiritual, Cleric for magical again, and then a Beast Tamer for training. So I feel like we want to go, let's see. I'm going to go first priority, Cleric, second priority, probably either Witch or Fencer. Third priority, Valk, and then fourth priority would be the Phalanx. So, alright. Let's see, what day is it today? It's the 4th. Let's make that happen. Alright. Now, by the way, it's saying weird stuff on the bitrate. Is that fine for you guys? Let's see, since the rest of this is kind of a bit of a pain in the neck to plan out, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put fighting as the minimum thing, and then just whatever else we get. Alright, so we want ideal, right? Wait, apparently we don't have ideal. What do you hold within your sword? Let's see. Changes law, ideal, honor, rule, chaos. None of these options are even here. I mean, you can literally see on the thing right there, they just completely have it wrong. So, Ardor, I'm assuming, is going to be changes. Passion, would Passion be law? We'll just pick the third one and hope that works out, I guess. Okay, they got Vigor in their sword. Would you sever with it? Okay, this one's correct. Hope, Greed, Order, Silence, Anarchy. You'll go Anarchy on that one. See, this guy sounds like a bit less of a nut job than before. Some lag spikes. Okay, I think here, if I shut this off, I'm hoping that'll fix it. Alright, what do you beseech the gods? Purity, apparently. Let's see, what do you offer the gods? Love, I suppose. Again, we're just going 0 fighting across the board. I just want to make sure that's the last one. What I find really weird, though, is it doesn't mention the items you're going to get. See, okay. The units you receive based on these questions are listed below. So, okay, what do you wish for? Let's say Strife. I feel like picking one top one or one bottom one is going to be your best one for this. Then what do you get rid of? Changes. We don't want anything to change ever. Perfect. Clearly the perfect guy to go do your revolution. I want nothing to change ever, guys. Alright, and Serene Water, because he wants nothing to change. Dude wants to be a lake. Alright. So, to show you how this works, here's a sample recreation. We'll set the answers to believe blah 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 blah. So highest priority is blobbity 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 frickety blah. And, okay, explain to me why they felt the need to cover all of this crap, but they didn't feel the need to explain what items you're getting. Like, I'm assuming most of these are just going to be the stuff that you need for those classes. But it just kind of feels a bit weird that they didn't feel like covering any of that. But they do feel like covering this, question priority thing 3 separate times so far. Anywho, while we're going through the intro... And by the way, let's move chat over here. Oh, crap. There we go. So I'm trying to figure out how to get Streamlabs moved here. Alright. And there we go. Now I can see the chat. Alright, hopefully that's going to be better. I can't guarantee it, but here's hoping. Alright, so characters, classes, and enemies. Soldiers, fighters, and Amazons. The 3 basic types of units are soldiers, fighters, and Amazons. Most of your characters start life as soldiers and spend some time either as a fighter or Amazon before progressing into the more powerful classes. So soldiers fight in a group and get a single attack during combat. They aren't very powerful and only do a little damage when they strike. However, soldiers become are extremely valuable, because over time they can be promoted into fighters and Amazons. When a soldier or a group of soldiers is promoted, their group leader is male, the soldiers turn into fighters. Okay, they at least covered that mechanic. Fighters are low-level warriors, more capable than soldiers, but not powerful overall. One significant advantage to fighters is that when they're in the front row, they get 2 attacks per round. Amazons, when a soldier is has a female leader, the soldier turns into Amazons, the soldiers turn into Amazons. Amazons pack less of a punch than fighters do, but because they attack with a bow, they can shoot over the first rank of enemies and hit creatures in the back row. When in the back row of a group, Amazons get 2 attacks. Alright, I'm just going to skip through this intro here because there's nothing for us to really do. Right, Novice Classes. While most of your characters will spend time as either fighters or Amazons, you should advance them to more powerful classes as soon as you can. They will almost certainly start in the Novice ranks. These classes are upgraded from fighters and Amazons, but they're not as powerful as the Master classes available later in the game. They still haven't mentioned the fact that you actually need their items to promote them, but okay. So these are all the male classes. Knights. So knights are much more powerful versions of these simple fighters. Knights are more... okay, that's just a weird graphical blow. It says more offensive. It looks like offensive because of the weird, just some weird stuff going on here. Anyway, they're more offensive power, or will have more offensive power than fighters and defend better as well. Keep them in the front ranks where they get 2 attacks. In the back row, they are much less effective. Berserkers are fighters who give everything they have to the battle. They lack defense almost entirely, and their attempts to slaughter their foes. Place Berserkers in the front rank where they get a good second attack. Fencers. Fencers have developed a unique style of fighting which allows them to frequently block the attacks of their enemies, but their light armor makes them vulnerable when the enemies score a hit. Fencers are much more... Hang on one quick second here. Okie doke, and back. Yeah, setting up, it's funny, the school is trying to get everybody back on track right now, but nobody can quite decide who's on Zoom and who's going back, or when they're going back, or what else. Kind of a funny time. Alright, so, where were we? Alright, so next we got Phalanxes, Fencers. Fencers are more effective in the front rank, where they get a second attack. Okay, all well and good. Phalanxes. Phalanx unit is the complete opposite, philosophically, from the Berserker. While the Berserker throws everything into his attack, the Phalanx prefers to defend, figuring that he can outlast his opponent. He can win. Phalanx unit is not as effective at attacking, but he is excellent at keeping the enemy away from more vulnerable units in your back row. Phalanxes should be placed up front. Beast Tamer. Beast Tamers attack with long, vicious whips that tear at their enemies. While not particularly powerful either on offense or defense, not true, them suckers hit like a truck. Beast Tamers are excellent when working with magical creatures. These creatures become more effective when in a group led by or containing a Beast Tamer. Let's see, protect Beast Tamers by placing them in the middle rank. They get 2 attacks from this rank, as well as the front. Alright, Dollmasters. Dollmasters avoid violence by doing their fighting with animated marionettes. Cowardly, perhaps, but the attack of the Dollmaster is fairly effective. No, it isn't. These units lack armor, though, so they're vulnerable to enemy attacks. They're extremely valuable when placed in a group with a golem, as Beast Tamers and magical creatures, or as with Beast Tamers and magical creatures. Dollmasters can get the most out of golem troops. Dollmasters get 2 attacks when in either of the front 2 ranks. And word of the day, vicious, yeah. Right, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how they figure their, how they're supposed to be, effective with their dolls. They literally are just kind of worthless unless they're either doing support or you get them a spellbook. But okay, if they say so. Anyway, ninjas, masters of stealth and disguise. That's why they're neither stealthy nor disguised. Ninjas are effective units in the front row of a group. Sure. They attack with claws that rend their foes to pieces. Not really, but they do, they do damage. Ninjas offer a good amount of damage and defend against enemies reasonably well. No, they don't. However, they are by nature a secretive group that works best in the shadows. Ninjas can't be group leaders. Okay. Just say it's a soldier with a slightly higher avoidance rate. There you go. Wizards, or fighters, I should say. Wizard. The only novice character class that is effective from the back rank is the Wizard. He attacks with a powerful spell that can fry his opponents where they stand. The spell can be augmented by giving him a different spell book. Wizards are physically weak and frail, so keep them protected in the back row. Okay, so it's not like they don't know about spell books yet in the guide. They clearly are recommending them as a thing, but for the Dollmaster, they're like, no, this guy doesn't get a spell book or any spells. He is just meant to attack with his doll. Okay, then. So, female character classes. Archer. The Archer is a significant upgrade over the Amazon, although the two are similar. Both attack with a bow and are capable of hitting enemies in the back row by shooting over front row enemies. Archers simply offer more power, something. They still get 2 attacks when placed in the middle rank. Oh, that's and. Yeah, okay, so to kind of explain why I'm having a little bit of trouble reading this, I already mentioned the ridiculously tiny letters going on, but on top of that, it's essentially a scanned-in page that is also like a PDF that's somewhat crunched up. So occasionally, some small words that either didn't scan right or just are weird on there may be a little hard to read. Anyway, moving on. So, Dragon Tamer. As Beast Tamers are to magical creatures, Dragon Tamers are to dragons. Not overly powerful themselves, and not powerful in defense. Dragon Tamers draw the most power out of dragons in your army. If you have a dragon, always try to pair it up with a Dragon Tamer. Dragon Tamers belong in the front row. While vulnerable here, they will also get 2 attacks. And also, they'll likely be the leader of that squad, so maybe don't actually do that at all. Valkyrie. Valkyries are the most versatile and therefore useful novice character classes. I mean, they drop off really quick, but if you say so. Powerful Female warriors, Valkyries can act as melee troops or as missile troops. In the front row, Valkyries charge forward and slash their opponents with a brutal frenzy. In the back row, Valkyries attack with spells and can hit enemies in the back rows of the opponent's group. Try to keep Valkyries out of the middle rank because they get only a single attack there. I should probably note, if anybody ever decides to do like a crowdfunding version of the Ogre Battle series, I feel like they could easily, make a legally distinct Valkyrie by just making them chuck the spear like a javelin instead of doing spells. Anyway, honestly, if somebody made an Ogre Battle game, just made it with, the American frontier or something like that, instead of wizards, you had gunners and stuff like that, I'd play that. Anyway, Sorceress. The Sorceress is the female equivalent of the wizard. Hitting with brutal spells that can fry anything on the battlefield, the Sorceress belongs in the back row. Here, she can use her spells twice, and her lack of armor is less of a problem than it would be up front. Okay. And clerics don't usually attack the enemy, instead they heal your troops with powerful magic. In the course of battle, when the cleric's turn to attack comes up, she instead heals the person in your group who has suffered the most damage or is the closest to being killed. Clerics have no defenses and should always be placed either behind another character. In the back ranks, they can cast their healing magic twice. Which, by the way, somebody recommended doing a cleric-only run at some point. I still have no idea how they can even attack, but that's something we can look into at some point. Alright, moving on. Get some water here. Okay. So, special classes. Several classes can only be created when you are, when you discover or are given special items during the course of your adventuring. These classes are naturally rare, and you generally won't have more than one of each. They aren't essential classes to create, but they are more powerful and can help you in battles. Details on acquiring these items can be found in the lists near the end of the guide. And where is my dang glasses? Because this is getting comically tiny over here. Alright, Dragoon. The Dragoon is created by acquiring the Dragon Helm, Dragon Armor, and Sword of Tiamat. Even then, this is a difficult unit to create. The character needs to have strength and vitality greater than that of a paladin, and dexterity approaching that of a ninja master. The Dragoon gets 3 attacks from the front row and 2 attacks from either the middle or the back rank. Princess. To become a princess, a character must have both a pure white dress and dream crown. This character is much more powerful in the back rank, where she can use her spells twice in combat. And doesn't mention anything else. So, Centurions. Centurions can either be male or female, and they have no alignment requirements. Centurions are tough warriors who are capable of causing a lot of damage, but they aren't as effective as most of the other melee classes. The benefit is that they can lead legions, allowing you to move your troops across the map in formation, which is very rarely useful. Wait, did we accidentally fight Dio? I don't know what the hell we did. I probably should be... Sweet Jesus, are we really reading all this? I feel like at this point, we should probably skip, maybe just kind of go over some of this stuff and go back to them as we encounter them. Because, yeah... let's see, to my knowledge, clerics and priests can't attack Novice 64. Yeah, so that was the difficult part of that. So we'll see. Alright, and quick exit, yes. Alright, so who do we wind up with? Do we get our Phalanx? No. Well, we haven't gotten our second group yet. We got the Fencer, we got the Sorceress. On to the Fencer. Alright. We'll skip the character descriptions for now until we run into them, I think. Alright. Also mentions enemy classes as Grappler. You can get one, but okay. You technically can get a Templar as well, but we'll get there. I'm curious what the kind of canonical route through this is. Also, for some reason they have the last boss here, but they don't have some of the other ones. Also, out of curiosity, let's see. The Sphinx is a powerful beast that thankfully appears only rarely and only toward the end of the game. That's why it killed me at the very beginning. Okay, then. Not that powerful in the front 2 ranks. A Sphinx in the back row casts a spell of incredible power, able to kill lesser creatures with a single casting. When possible, avoid these beasts or kill them. Would do that if they didn't look identical to everything else. Alright, so... Let's go over how they cover items real quick. Oh, these literally just say these guys use swords of these kinds. We'll start getting to the actual guide that it wants you to do. Alright, so got details on all kinds of different items here. How combat works. Alright, let's see. What do they say on that? You have some ability to direct your troops in combat, but in general, they make a lot of the decisions on their own. Your troops always attack an enemy directly in front of them, in front of them in preference to an enemy on the opposite side, regardless of how you tell them to attack. So, if you tell your troops to attack the enemy leader and the leader is to the far left, your troops on the right won't attack the leader if enemies are directly in front of them. I kind of wish they'd have this little graph with lanes. I feel like that's the best way to describe how this works. So regardless of this, your ability to direct combat is important, and you should always tell your troops what to do in battle. You spend a lot of time watching your troops in combat. You have 4 choices in how your troops attack. Autonomous, attack strongest, attack leader, and attack weakest. Each of these has its place in your repertoire of attacks. Learning to use each helps you succeed in combat. Use each of the attack styles at the right time. Autonomous, when you tell a group to attack autonomously, you are essentially telling them to do whatever they want in combat. Your units generally attack the enemy directly in front of them. Frontline units usually attack in the front rank, while troops in the back usually attack the back. This is perhaps the least useful method of attack. While your units will do damage, they won't score a lot of kills, preferring instead to spread the damage around the enemy group. You should rarely rely on this method. As far as spreading damage, attack weakest is actually the best one, but whatever. Autonomous attacks don't give you any control over what you're doing. It's the least effective method. Hello there, Mr. Vale. And yes, we're covering the guide. So far, the only major issue we've run into is the fact they can't seem to decide on Yumel's last name. Anyway, attack strongest. Choosing this style of attack tells your units to attack the strongest enemy in front of them. In many ways, this is similar to attacking autonomously, but more firmly suggests to your units that they should concentrate on the toughest enemy unit. Again, this often means that your troops will damage most of the enemies in the group because the strongest enemy changes as weakened by attacks. And yeah, actually, it's attack strongest, not attack weakest. As I was just trying to say, it's the opposite. Say stuff backwards sometimes, dang it. Alright. This style of attack is very useful for whittling down powerful groups and making them easier to kill later. It can help you make a particularly powerful enemy unit an easy kill. Attack leader. Without question, this is the most useful style of attack. Fair. At least initially, an enemy unit with a leader cannot coordinate its attack. Rather than attacking your units in strongholds with precision, groups that have lost their leader simply run away on the battlefield seeking to avoid conflict. They rarely take over strongholds. You can accidentally make them do that, and it kind of sucks. Attacking a group leader and killing him or her is the quickest and best way to render a unit useless. Destroy the rest of the group at your leisure because it cannot act intelligently. And then attack weakest. Right, a very tough enemy group can be made easier to deal with if you thin out its ranks. By directing your attacks on the weakest units of the enemy group, you give your troops a chance to kill a few units. The entire group gains valuable experience by scoring kills, and thank you for whatever that was just now. Thank you, Zero, for the host of yourself. Alright. And moving on. This is the second best attack style that improves your units and weakens the enemy group quickly. Okay, then. I mean, attack strongest is usually the best anyway, because yes, it does spread damage around, but it does give you a minor damage boost. Although it apparently doesn't feel like mentioning that. Alright, creating groups. Is there anything that sticks out? A group that has worked together for a long time coordinates better, giving you a better chance of powerful combined magics. Is that true? I feel like that's not an actual mechanic. Hi there, Chaos. Yeah, over time groups tend to work together a little better, coordinating their attacks more. I'd have to ask. I don't actually know if that's a real mechanic or if that's just something they're making up. But, I mean, it would make sense if it is. It just seems like a weird thing to quantify. Let's see. If they're together long enough, their combined magic chance goes up. Well, okay. So far, I mean, again, aside from the last name thing, I'm not seeing anything too terribly awful here. I mean, it seems, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Alright. Attacking and retreating. I mean, we'll skip over the mechanical stuff and get to the actual story stuff. Okay. So, now for the guide proper. And the letters get even smaller. Come on, dude. Alright, Prologue. 6 years ago, you left your family and friends to join the military academy in Winia, the capital of Palatinus. You've learned the basics, and you are now a true soldier. Your graduation from the academy couldn't happen soon enough to please you. Weird. Anyway, let's see. You say goodbye to your childhood friend Yumel and head to the military academy. Okay. Alright. Archbishop Odoron is the one who finally graduates you, but before you can actually graduate, you must answer a series of questions. In addition to choosing your name, Magnus is the default, and your birth date, you must choose to make several choices that will affect the characters who will lead your armies and items you begin with. There we go, they remember the items this time. Pick your choices, the choices you feel best suit your own philosophy, aka give lust to the gods. The differences are fairly minor and don't greatly affect your ability to succeed in the coming scenarios. The only one that has a real effect is the last choice, where you select your elemental Pendra. Actually, it kind of doesn't make too big of a difference because you're getting a nuke one way or the other. Anyway. So once your graduation is complete, head to Akka Castle in the southern region. General Godislas greets you and tells you there's no room for slacking off in the southern division. Sorry, it's kind of crunchy text over here. To get you used to life in your new home, Godislas has planned a training exercise which will be carried out by his lieutenant, Ariash. You also discover that you and 5 others have been selected as potential commanders. And, let's see, next you meet with the advisor, an old man named Hugo Miller, or Hugo the Tactician. Hugo sizes you up quickly and tells you to report to the 10 planes for your first assignment. You'll be working with another potential commander named Diomedes, who doesn't seem to like working under Hugo. Okie-doke. Okay, so we haven't fought Dio yet. Alright, on the map, head to the 10 planes. When you do, you and Diomedes are greeted by Hugo. Diomedes, or Dio, still has the temper he displayed earlier. Well, good that we covered that one. Both you and Diomedes are ready for action. That's writing. I always love the weird, like, cheesy writing in guides, you know? See, Hugo gets right down to business, telling you that the Theodricus mine in the area is experiencing a lot of trouble. Groups of wild beasts have attacked the locals. Don't they say that people did that? Whatever. And bandits are rampant as well. The locals expect the military to resolve the situation. Alright. On the map, Hugo explains the situation in a little more depth. You'll be headquartered in... You know what, hang on, let me try to make this a little bit larger, because these tiny letters are breaking my brain. This is going to break it real quick, just so you know. It didn't? Weird. Here, let's scooch this over here a little bit. Alright. So, let's see. Good. Back to working after family vacations, or holiday vacations. See, I know it's a beast tamer at the mine. He says he's been unleashing the beast, so that checks out. Alright, fair enough. I'm still expecting to see this thing completely faceplant at some point, but okay. Alright. On the map, Hugo explains the situation in a little bit more depth. Oh, there we go. They were attacked by wild animals. It does check out. Why is this allegedly non-legit thing being so legit right now? Alright. You will be headquartered in Zenio, and you'll have a group of... I think that's a Zenio. I don't know. You'll have a couple of strongholds used to rest your units. Unfortunately, the bandits control a sizable portion of the map to the west. They are centered in the Theodricus mine, located a day's march to the southwest of your headquarters. While you should have little trouble reaching the mine, you need to guard your western flank carefully. Okie-doke. I mean, I would say southern flank more so, because they tend to kind of fall back there. Details, though. After the briefing, Hugo puts you in charge of the operation. Dio takes exception to this, and when Hugo leaves, he challenges you to fight. You can either accept his challenge or not. Either way, Hugo will stop you before you come to blows. Let's see. No matter what you select, Dio still wants to fight and doesn't take no for an answer. However, if you refuse to fight, Hugo will be pleased that you showed great judgment. Now, it says specifically that it wants you to pick a particular route, but it doesn't tell you what to choose there. So if you want to see your full briefing again, enter the stronghold in your headquarters with any character. Okay. So hey, this is the first game I ever bought for myself. Loved it on the 64 back in the day. Wish I still had the game in box from back then. Well, I mean, thankfully there's this wonderful thing called the internet now. And, yeah, Project 64, pretty solid emulator. Actually, you can emulate this on a lot of stuff. Like, I think phones are probably the easiest at this point. But yeah. So it doesn't tell you what... despite the fact that it wants you to follow a particular route, it won't tell you what that route is. So... we'll just assume they don't fight here. Alright. I mean, I guess one way or the... yeah. We're gonna go ahead and assume it's probably not gonna be the get Dio to be the to be a boss later route. Alright, now the battle truly starts. You are let's see, you're dispatched and have 5 other groups you can dispatch immediately. Do so. Send your party to the west towards the enemy stronghold there. Send 2 more groups with you as well. Okay. Well, we'll get to that in just a sec. So just dismissively pass to fight on this guy. Let's see. It says Hugo will be pleased. This is true. This is true. Gotta follow Master Miller's advice. Alright. Although it is kind of funny because I'm thinking if I ever do, like, do those video reviews I was thinking about doing for the series, absolutely replacing so many things in relation to Hugo with stuff from Metal Gear. Alright, so games are still fairly cheap on eBay if you're looking. Need to get a box myself. It's about $200 for a complete in-box copy on eBay. Yeah, this series is frickin' pricey. Metal Gear! Exactly. So you picked up a copy not too long ago. Might replay it on the Wii U since it's on there and kind of portable. Yeah, I wish that, like, if the Virtual Shop existed on other systems, I would probably try to find some way to get a Switch, but unfortunately, it's only on the Wii and you can't actually get it anymore, which is funny. Actually, no, wait, you can play it on the Wii, apparently, so I was mistaken on that a few years ago, but you can only buy it through a Wii U for some freaking reason. So you've got that, and then it's basically the last one of the series that's actually still available. Even Tactics Ogre PSP, no longer available on PSN for whatever reason. Or at least it wasn't last I checked. Somebody was saying that it just disappeared off there one day, so that's why I was getting a little bit hopeful that maybe there was going to be a series compilation or something coming out, but so far that is a no, but it would be fantastic if it did. Alright, let's see. Now the battle starts. You begin already dispatched, and you have 5 other groups you can dispatch immediately. Do so. Send your party to the west towards the enemy stronghold. Okay, so, Mr. Guide Guy, you are going to go to the enemy stronghold. Okay. Alright, let's see. Send 2 more groups with you as well. Man, they have no faith in this guy. I mean, he's fine on his own, so we'll just send the first 2. When they're going to be non-specific, we're just going to send the groups as they are. Alright, and we got Arnold our Fencer. So your entire initial starting party is going here. Have them both on your Wii. Lucky! Yeah, what's funny is I was intending to get a Wii to pick up both of them a few years ago, and then just, yeah, didn't quite end up happening, and then... well, then I thought I could get them all running on the Vita, which everything but OB64 runs just fine on a Vita if you're okay with the Yarhar life. Alright, let's see. Send 2 more groups with you as well, because this is where most of the enemy activity takes place. Fair enough. Send 2 other groups, including Dios, to the stronghold immediately to the south of your starting location. Dispatch the final group and have them stationed at your headquarters. Yeah, this is actually legit advice. So... actually, wait a minute. Immediate south of... yeah, okay, so... one thing I will say... Mace? Yeah, their advice was wrong. On the questions, though. Because I do not have a Phalanx. Specifically having 4th priority for a... despite the fact that they cover that mechanic 3 separate times. Yeah, it turns out the advice on getting a Phalanx this way was wrong. So, yeah. Cool. Out of curiosity, what does this mean that we got? Let's try to piece this together. A million pages up here. Sorry if this is giving a headache or whatever else scrolling through this many pages. Alright, so according to this, we got Sorceress, so we got Spiritual on either first or third priority. We got a Fencer, so that's going to be... I think that can only be third or second priority, so we know what second was. We got a Wizard, so that's presumably fourth priority. And then we got a Dragon Tamer, so that's their priority. So we got, we got Sorceress for first, we got Fencer for second, we got Dragon Tamer for third, and then for fourth we got the Wizard, right? So, what? It said specifically that the one that you want to have last, you put last, so that would be ideal, right here. So, I mean, these 6 straight up did not exist. So this is the only one that could have been wrong, but we were going off the same order. And yeah, I just basically put 0 for everything fighting related, and it put it at the very end. So getting tempted to download this, watch one of your YouTube video series? Yeah, do it, man. Let's see, you can get reproduction cards of Tactics Ogre for the SNES with a decent translation. Yeah, and also you can just put both versions, as well as Chronicle Valeria and Old Vision and stuff like that, just all the modded versions, as well as Lap of the Gods and stuff, and go put it on the SNES Mini. Then you don't have to worry about the save corruption issues or anything, funnily enough. I don't know why the SNES Mini doesn't get the save corruption issues. It seems like RetroArch loves to just explode if you try to use Ogre Battle on it. So intro questions plus unit names plus Dardanelle times are all definitely wrong. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's not even remotely close to any of the ones I was going for. Anyway, let's go ahead and zoom out of here. Also, it doesn't tell you to immediately set up your exit shortcut, so immediately terrible advice. Anyway, off they go. Alright, so while they're on the way there, they send 2 teams, including Dios, to the south, dispatch the final group, and have them stay on your headquarters in case the enemy manages to get past your other forces. I do really like that they have that one there, because, yeah, that one got me pretty much immediately last time, because I didn't realize how slippery they are in this one. Yeah, if you lose your headquarters, you lose the battle. Your forces are on the march. The groups head west, and 2 move south, and 1 stays put in your headquarters. Alright. So you remember having, when I was little, the Nintendo Power early game guide? I'd be curious to see what that one says, too. What I've been trying to do is put together a sort of compiled list of all of the different guides, like guides, manuals, and any unofficial guides. Well, official and unofficial, like, printed guides and that kind of thing for the entire series, and just kind of put them in a Dropbox in case anyone wants to go look at them. Because I'll be honest, these things are just a massive pain in the nuts to ever get a hold of. Especially the one for, like, Tactics Ogre PSP in English. That one legit does not exist anywhere, and I mean, I've had a few folks that had one that said, hey, we'll offer to do it, offer to answer any question from it, but that's kind of missing the point of taking a look at it. Let's see. That one has the numbers for what each question asks. Yeah, this one has the numbers too. They're just completely wrong, and one of them has the completely wrong answers. Alright, so they're all sitting there. Wait, sorry, as your group begins marching, bandit groups begin to appear on the map, concentrated mainly in the west. The 3 groups you've been marching toward the stronghold of Maluk should have little trouble fighting these groups back. Have your own groups pursue any enemies they encounter, and the rest of them the stronghold once they are victorious. Okay. So... okay, are we still in the... yeah, we're still in the same fight here. So they said to fight off any groups here, and then immediately go and chase them. So we'll do that. Alright, something interesting happens when you first approach Mulsuk. You see the bandit leader speaking with an angry wizard who has been told to keep you occupied for as long as possible. You better press, Yeah, it does say forward. Sorry, again, crunchy text. Better press forward and quickly. When a unit reaches How, located straight south of Zenim, they'll have it enter the Witch Den to learn how to raise troops from the dead. If you lose any units, you may now come back, or they may now come back as zombies. You can also send someone to Jad in the east to use the shop there. Okie doke, so we'll have to do each of those. Except apparently we're supposed to set everybody to attack weakest, or attack leader. Everyone's supposed to be on attack leader right now. The guide said it, so it must be true. Also, guide immediately invalidated by the fact that it didn't tell you to switch out of this god-awful formation. Alright, by old clothing, they mean a No Fear t-shirt and a pair of Jenko jeans. Yes. Also, I don't know, I personally always saw the ghost clothing as just like a trash bag. Alright, so first things first, well, we're supposed to follow up with kills, right? So, instead of claiming that town, he's going to go for the murder spree. Mollusk has been liberated. I can repeatedly change the names for no reason because, you know, that's how the game's going to do it. Let's see, the internet is never wrong. Very true. Very true. I mean, I can understand stuff getting weird if they played some different version of it, but it's just kind of weird when they have a guy that they can't decide on the last name of for 3 straight pages. Like, even my few-page guide on One Vision, like, it's still full of so many inaccuracies. It's not even funny because the thing just keeps updating every month. To the point where I keep procrastinating on going and fully updating it, because every time I do, 5 seconds later, I go to the One Vision Discord, and they're like, guess what? 8 new versions came out. Half this stuff doesn't exist anymore. But yeah. Alright. So, let's see. Once you've claimed Mulsuk and moved a group or two to How, concentrate on the east. Alright, which one's How? I think How is that one on the bottom, right? Alright, so what are you? Buchanan? Bordeaux? What the hell's How? Stabilio? Huh? Okay, so that's the Witch Den. Okay, so I guess this is the one they're asking for. Let's see. Yeah, let me reread that real quick. Yeah, concentrate on the east. Send one of your groups all the way to the south. To capture the neutral stronghold. What? Are you kidding? Why? Why would you count? I mean, we gotta do it. Orders are orders. I mean, okay. So you should be having a phone interview in about 2 minutes, so should be stepping out if they call me this time. Know the feeling. Know the feeling, because, yeah, I was supposed to be having a phone, or supposed to start training for a new job today at, well, it was supposed to be a couple hours from now, but I just got an email that apparently they're delaying it till tomorrow. So good luck with your interview. I hope it goes well for you. Hope you get the job. They're kind of a pain to come by right now. Alright, let's see. Go back to your western group. Some of them will probably need to rest after their battles, so pull them back to Mulsuk and let them heal. Any western groups in good shape can push towards Buchanan on the western edge of the map. Yeah, this is a weird plan they've got going on. Because basically what they're saying is just branch out everywhere, but then let these guys rest with their short distance movement, but then have these guys cover like half the map, and then just keep on marching that way. Sure. Anyway, this guy's gonna have to nap soon, so we're just gonna send him over this way. This track him down and finish him off advice is not panning out terribly well. Mostly the reason it doesn't pan out terribly well is because you don't have any faster units right now, so you're kind of moving at the same speed. So yeah, we're kind of getting a little stuck. Just getting chased around the dang map. But thankfully, it's Magnus's unit, so he is just fine. Okie doke. So, some will probably need to rest. Any western groups in good shape can push towards Buchanan on the western edge. Clear this area and prepare yourself for the final assault. Okay. We'll get right on that. As we're about to run into these guys yet a frickin' again. Let's go ahead and... it doesn't say to do this, but we're going to go ahead and change their formation around a little bit. So that this one guy isn't taking all their damage. I mean, it did briefly cover how formations work earlier, so there's that. I'm assuming the reason that they have you take these routes is to get the hidden items. It's just kind of strange. Okay. Alright. Yeah, move your groups in all at once and have them attack. The first confronts Stabilio, the bandit leader. Don't be discouraged if you lose the first battle. You must defeat the leader to claim victory in this area. In this scenario, if he's still alive at the end of the fight, your unit retreats. As soon as he goes down, you win the mission. Let's see. So he challenges you to push him outside of the Drocious mine. Stabilio's in the back. Concentrate all your attacks on him. Okay. So we'll follow this bizarre plan of just do whatever. Yeah, this has to be the reason that they suggested this route. Especially considering they're ordering you to take a neutral city, which there's no reason to ever do. For anyone unfamiliar with the mechanics of this game, by the way, you're basically just giving away Chaos Frame. So you're pushing yourself very slightly towards the bad ending by forcing a unit to go take a neutral city, because they've got nothing to do with this. So there's no reason for them to be fighting, but yeah. Alright. So I'll just go for strongest here. Let's see, Chaos, you have my attention while I'm waiting for the call. Okie doke. Yeah, no. So yeah, no reason to take that neutral city, but for some reason they just feel like we have to for one reason or another. Let's see, after the battle, you confront Stabilio. If you are speaking with him, Dio runs in and tells you that Prince Yumel has been attacked. Stabilio finds this extremely funny because the entire operation was just a ruse to get you and your division to come south and leave the prince open to be attacked. Stabilio and others are planning a revolution to destroy the royal family and the nobles. As Dio captures Bilney. Okie dokie. Terrible ideas abound, and away we go. Although, again, something that's always kind of stuck out to me about this particular game, it's kind of funny how their plan is more or less like they consider it as a success that they lured away the rookies. Like they went and they made all the raw recruits go somewhere else. And it's like, what about the actual army that would theoretically be protecting the guy that they're going after? I mean, you find out later they basically just completely wiped the army somehow, or they'd never even bothered showing up. It's just kind of an odd time there. All right. Yeah, for all this guide's talk of organizing into, specific assault groups and whatever else, this is a really fuster-clucky way to do it, because you're just all over the dang map. Like, personally, my preference is just you... I mean, it's the same thing with you leave the one guy there for now. But then basically you leave them only until you touch these two, and then you move them to approximately here. And then from there, you basically just take these two. You can circle around this whole area. Like, you just move the entire blob down here, and then you just put a small circle around where the mine is, and there's never a reason to go down and, you know, take that one. For one thing, it's neutral. So if they take and get it back, you're still going to be better off in points than if you took it. And for another thing, you're... Oh, what's he doing? He's just sitting still? Okay. And for another thing, like, leaving it open like this means that if any end up losing, but say they don't lose their leader, then they will immediately go for that town and take it. It just kind of puts it higher up on their priority list. Let's set you to attack weakest. Why not? On a little bit of a side note, so I was doing that one vision solo, and I was figuring out, I was trying to figure out the last boss for the fire temple there. You can beat that guy without ever attacking anything. Which the challenge actually became not beating the guy, but being able to get one of the drops from one of the random units there. Because it turns out that one of the unique two-handers in the game is actually in that fight now. Which ended up working out pretty neatly, and I'll probably do an update for this later, but, yeah, it turns out there was almost no reason to actually go do the Fire Temple. But, oh well. You know, I guess technically part of the no bosses or all bosses thing for that one. So there's that. Alright. So this team's pretty good, actually. I feel like this Fencer squad's probably going to wind up getting a bunch of promotions real quick. And if you hear any weird noises, apparently my dog is having puppy dreams at my feet here. What you dreaming about, old man? Slash, he's technically like 3 years old. Alright. Oh yeah, we have to actually go talk to the witch. I forgot, it's ordered us to go through the revival tutorial. We've already failed the run if we don't do that. Alright, and their alignment goes down because they murdered a griffin. How dare they? Griffus go deadus. Alright, now where? And they had claws for God knows what reason. Alright, how is over there? Okay, so let's get Magnus over there to listen to a tutorial. And then from there we just have to wipe out every unit on the map, and then we should be good to go. While it's still probably not ideal to have everybody marching down, I think there's enough leaderless units to be able to pull this off. Alright, so you take a nap for now. That guy's panicking. That one's heading back. He should be able to recover and intercept them. Alright, so you chase this one down. A little bit odd to see them suggesting strategies like murder everything on the map, but okay. So you go after that one. If you can... There we go. Go after Fed over there. And how many units are we looking at over here? Takato. I just misread that as Taco Taco. Alright. There's one dude going in. We'll have Eliza go in. Chase him down, exactly. Side note on chasing stuff down, I had the strongest urge to go play some Xenonauts the other day. The wife and I were watching SWAT, and it was the last episode of Season 3 on that one. As she puts it, she needs her fix of her bald man. Which, by the way, funny note, I think the main character of that show was the inspiration behind Blue Blood and Chimera Squad. Like the XCOM spinoff from a few months ago. Or was it Cheese 'em Down? It could be either or. I mean, it doesn't feel like we're doing too much cheesing right now. But no, there was such a need to play Xenonauts all of a sudden because they had this moment where somebody's like running down a hallway, their rifle runs out of ammo, so they get a pistol. Their pistol's almost out of ammo, so they're like tucking away their pistol in one pocket, pulling out a baton in one hand and a grenade in the other, and like, this is this is some XCOM crap going on right now. You're just like sitting behind a door waiting to ambush somebody. It's pretty great. Meanwhile, somebody's like stunned and dazed behind them, trying to figure out how their aiming works. Man, I'm... So, quick question. I know that there's 10 bajillion runs kind of going on consecutively already anyway, but, Xenonauts on the highest, like, basically impossible difficulty, what's the interest in that one? Like, base game Xenonauts. I mean, Community Edition, because that fixes so many bugs, it's kind of obligatory. Actually, you know what? I should totally see if there's a official Xenonauts guide that was released. It's like, how do they recommend running Insane? I mean, Insane would probably be completely impossible without breaking the game, like, in terms of cheese. I mean, the only reason that I've been able to consistently make a route to just get to the end, mid-game at least, has simply just been because of how you can cheese the Foxtrot plane. Like, there's a thing, like, since the air game in that one is 2D, it has this thing where a dodge only starts at a certain point of the game actually detecting that you fired a missile, and they'll automatically dodge anything that's a torpedo. And so you can basically do a thing where you launch the torpedo the second that you're literally on top of them. So you more or less just like run up and just drop a torpedo directly into their cockpit. And that is the only reason that one's kind of doable, I think. Because I don't think you're supposed to be able to beat the game on that difficulty. I mean, even with that cheese that more or less guarantees air game wins, there's still a very real possibility they just start a terror mission and everybody dies within 2 rounds. But I'd be curious to see what the actual interest in that one is. Because, like, for anyone curious, by the way, the original, the original X Division run there, the only reason that took so long is because X Division is a crazy long mod. Alright, there we go. We gotta go to the Witch Den. The guide said to go look at the tutorial, so there we go. Fighting a war, are you? 3 years of research, I finally came up with a way to perform miracles without relying on a god. I think. But my experiment is going slow due to a lack of willing subjects. Now I can revive those fallen in battle. Doing this will help me with my research. I like to think this is Nibeth's wife, by the way. Because A, you never see Nibeth's wife, nor do you ever hear what her deal is. But this lady is everywhere. She's bringing people back from the dead, and it's around the same point that he'd be elsewhere, and he had kids, so... I mean, dude had a lady at some point. I mean, married or not, they never say, but... Roll the dice and the rice. It's okay. Alright, so we don't need anyone revived from the dead now. But they do officially confirm that your characters die. Sorry. So what it said at this point was to make sure to start chasing down units, and then to make a circle around whoever's left, and then just kind of like bum rush to get into the center. So what we have now is this chaotic mosh pit of a situation where everybody's running all around the map. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. We'll see which units die first, and apparently that's going to be this guy. Okay, so we don't get to chase down anybody. Fantastic. Because apparently Stabilio died first, because this entire plan results in him accidentally dying instead of actually finishing off the others. Beautiful. If you properly surround the place, instead of bum rushing it, then you do actually get to capture everybody that's there. By capture, I mean exhume their still living selves of all their items. Alright, so moving on to the next page here. Let's see, you decide that you should rescue the prince, but Dio shows a certain amount of brains when he reminds you that you don't have any information to work with, including where the prince was attacked. Fortunately, Hugo arrives and has at least the beginnings of a plan. While it's too late for you to join up with the main regiment, you still have a chance to save the prince, because the decoy was so large, the main enemy force probably isn't too much bigger. Again, it's a really tiny decoy, so I don't know why they say that. Hugo puts you in charge of the prince's rescue while he heads back to the main regiment to give his report. However, he suggests that you all go to where Prince Yumel was attacked before you start. Okay. Blah blah blah. They're gonna talk this out. So let's see what our actual orders are for this one. So head to the Volmus mine on the map display, and your briefing begins. While Hugo doesn't have that much information, he does know something. You will be headquartered in Soken. The bandits control virtually everything else. There are a couple of neutral strongholds on the map. Because you don't know where Prince Yumel is, you must move from one stronghold to stronghold to search for him. Sorry. Alright, Hugo suggests using the roads to move from place to place. While the briefing is over, Hugo wishes, when the briefing is over, Hugo wishes you luck while he heads back to Akka Castle. Okay. Zero over your map. Capturing the 2 nearby strongholds helps keep your headquarters safe. No, it frickin' doesn't. I mean, it's kind of a... Okay, I'm curious if they mentioned the trap. As with the last mission, start by dispatching your forces. Send Dio in 2 groups, west, and then south towards Dees. Oh, please tell me you remember to actually put a defensive unit. Alright, first of all, it doesn't say to change anything, so we can't change anything. We'll go ahead and save over this older save file from before. Kind of downside of this game is you only ever get 2 save files. If you're emulating, like Project 64 here has a few dozen save slots, so we can technically just go for that. Anywho, so, as with last mission, start by dispatching your forces, send Dio in 2 groups west and south towards Dees. You and 2 other groups should move straight south towards Sanal. Have the 7th stand back at your headquarters. You're really going to leave us with 1? There's 2 squads that come and ambush your headquarters, for those that didn't know. I mean, they're not really offensive or anything, it's just you can't really kill them with 1 squad. It's kind of an interesting tutorial in terms of, hey, your headquarters is going to get, bumped in the rear every now and then. Let's see, still waiting, they haven't called, and this is the 2nd time too? Ah, crap, is it like a corporate thing, or is it like a private company? In terms of how likely they are to call. Alright. So, first off, we gotta put these orders in to send the teams where they should go. So, first of all, pause, and Dio, and 2 groups west, then south. I don't believe they've actually mentioned how you're supposed to send them west yet. So hopefully this actually does capture the ones that you're supposed to run into there. I'm pretty sure when you do this, they automatically avoid you and go through the mountains. So there's Dio in 2 groups. Alright, you and 2 other groups. Okay, so let's say guide. Now, I will say, how do they expect you to leave a 7th group standing here when we don't have a 7th group? I mean, we can make a 7th group, we just don't have a 7th group to actually do anything with. Now, staffing agency? I mean, they're usually pretty good at calling back, unless... I mean, maybe they had somebody come in at the last second. Alright, so we'll just assume we are out of units, we don't have a 7th unit. That sucks, let's just send them out and see what happens. Alright, as with the last mission, start with yada yada yada. 7th guard, stand back to guard your headquarters. Yep. So, no 7th group. Snell is heavily guarded, but you need to push through it. Once you get there, send one group east to capture the neutral stronghold of Berbera. What is with this guide and capturing every neutral stronghold? What is wrong with you? It's either phone call only and I'm at home? Like, it's a phone call job, or you can only interview by phone? Because I've been kind of surprised to see the ones over here mostly insisting on in-person meetings. Let's see. Then have this group rejoin your others. Yeah, like, they're not even guarding the stronghold. They're just going and taking it. Why? So at the last mission, keep attacking enemy groups to destroy them and prevent them from getting behind you. Okie doke. That means Mr. Guide here is now being reassigned to murder mode. And will now go stabify this priest real good. Alright. So our orders at this point are to take these two towns. Like I said, this lady will more or less try to avoid us at this point. So what we're going to do, seeing that, is kind of redo this one a little bit. And have her chase down this particular squad right here. Only because it's just going to lead us to a game over screen. See if this ends up working out. Most of the time, that particular unit is designed to take your hits and then circle around behind you and then just kind of accidentally take your HQ. It's kind of a messed up noob trap, really. I mean, hopefully they call you soon, Chaos. Hope that's soon. Alright, so Sanal and Dees are the ones that they want to make a big deal of. Alright, taking some casualties. This is the worst squad that you could ever come up with, thinking about it. Should probably change their formation, actually. Lisa, tell me, are you just drunk? What are you thinking? There we go. That'll do. The stabbies only ever get one attack anyway, so screw it. Alright, second stab, he's dead. Goody goody. So now all we have to do is wait for them to take these two towns, and one of these guys is supposed to break off and capture this neutral town for no reason, so that's probably going to be Magnus's next order of business. This plan is the worst. Actually, let's go ahead and have Maze do it. Alright. Go from there, then you go ahead and head right back for some reason. This plan is asinine. Oh wow, that crit of 2 damage. Man, I don't know what we're gonna do. These guys are too good. And they've almost captured that one. At that point, we'll have him go back to Sanal or whatever that one was. While we wait for the guide to tell us more instructions. I kind of wonder if this guide is intentionally going for the bad Chaos Frame ending or something. Because why would you take every neutral town? It's not like there's even an income to consider. Yeah, I feel like the west and south thing is meant to try to help you out with those clerics, but it's just not going to happen, is it? Pretty sure even directly targeting them is going to be an issue. Provided that you actually had a 7th unit to do their plan, you basically would just be sitting there waiting for them to hopefully not do enough damage every single time. But if I recall, it's like a soldier and 2 clerics or something. Like, they're deliberately meant to be annoying. Also, this guy's name is Jank. That's hilarious. What's your deal? Yeah, it's like 1 fighter and 2 clerics. They're not meant to be threatening. They're just annoying. But, you know, if they get to your HQ, they get to your HQ. That's that. Anyway, one quick second here. And back. Alright. The annoying squad is here. Or at least one of them. So I think for this one we'll just go attack weakest. I believe it gives them a little bit of a debuff to their attack. I'm not 100% on that, but it does tend to be pretty helpful for getting rid of stuff like this. Alright, a little bit surprised to see the fact that they actually do tell you where Yumal is. I was about 99% certain that they would just tell you, oh man, you gotta figure out where he's hidden, you gotta look through all the towns, but no, they basically just tell you, secure these 2 towns and then go to that one south, or not south, but sort of southeast-ish type zone. Yeah, not a huge fan of this map in particular because of this particular squad. Because they will just sit here and deal or heal away most of the damage that you do. And so you just sit there for encounter after encounter on a squad that can't really do much aside from get a cheap win. It's kind of douchey, kind of like right there. You might have just lost it. Because I'm pretty sure they will now outspeed us to the HQ. Yeah, that's annoying. But that's what'll happen. Unfortunately, we had no seventh squad to go put down there. Not sure why I assumed we had 7, because you can only have 6 at this point unless you've got extra leaders. Which I don't believe is even possible considering... Oh! What the hell? They're actually being aggressive? That's... Okay, that's weird. They almost always just beeline straight for the HQ because that's where they're supposed to be going. And I'm assuming that's what they wanted. Okay, so you know how I was mentioning last time that it seemed super weird that they were ordering to go take the neutral town? And once again, it makes no sense for you to go take that neutral town unless you want to route somebody in to go take the hidden items. So, in this case, yeah, you get a hidden item that's a quick gate, which I guess you can't really equip on anybody because this isn't March of the Black Queen, so maybe it wouldn't be a way to have your unit sitting on your HQ. Okay, it was almost brilliant if it was playing a completely different game. Almost. Alright. Alright. Let's see. Snell is heavily guarded, but when you push through it, once you get there, send one group east to capture the neutral stronghold. Again, just really strange, because I don't think you get anything for additional captured towns. It's just... It had to have been for the quick gate. But okay, so we've almost taken those. We'll just have Eliza hang out on the HQ. I really don't feel like hunting down that squad. It's just not worth it. Alright, lots of experience for everybody, and moving on. So, with Sonal and Dees under your control, send your character to the southeast to Ishiro. This is where Prince Yumel is being had. You can have your troops in the west move towards Eldon in the south, but they'll probably not get there before you rescue Yumel. Okay. So it's going to take them a second to get there, so we'll just go ahead and send Mr. Guide over there. Because why not? I mean, this isn't the worst route through this. It's just this neutral town that's kind of unnecessarily mean. Which is kind of funny when it's all cold outside and your nose gets all nasally and it sounds like you're saying mean or bean instead of mean. Also, on a little bit of a side note, apparently, getting to a neutral town and then moving actually doesn't take it. That was something I thought that Prince of Zenobia had started. But no. Apparently neutral towns function the same way. You can just use them as little stopover points. Oof. Man, this guy got shanked real hard. Poor old man. Randy became a fighter. Randy. Dandy for Mr. Randy. Alright, so after this, theoretically, we might have one extra unit that might be able to do some stuff. Like, as far as having a 7th squad goes. Alright, so now it wants us to send everything down south. Alright, that guy's still resting up. Nancy's just gonna hang out up there, because, yeah. Alright, Dio's tired. Arnold is kind of tired. Everyone's just kind of a little bit under the weather right now. Alright, we'll have this guy start moving in here. Do we want either of these to move? I feel like we want Arnold to move down here. And they realistically... Well, actually, this is annoying, because this little wandering squad will still try to take a town. Oh. We just lost somebody. I think Chaos got his interview. Alright. Good luck with that if you happen to hear this afterwards. Alright. When you approach Ishiro, you will see a few of the rebels talking about the prince. They are very distressed to say that you're the Palatinian army and not the scouts they were expecting. But we are the scouts they were expecting. This ain't a frickin' army. This is like not even a platoon. This is a couple squads. Depending on what branch we're talking about, it's like one squad. I mean, granted, this is 2 dudes, so whatever. Oh. Dang it. Well, hopefully they call you then. Let's see. Fight them back and liberate Ishiro, and you'll also liberate the prince. Ignore the dialogue, otherwise you'll think they want to liberate them of their pence. Anyway. Let's see. As you near, you can hear them talking to the prince. They're waiting for a scout and are upset when you appear instead. Alright. Okay, Raid is the guy I was thinking of earlier. It's kind of weird that they have Baldwin in the intro, but not Raid. For characters that you'll see a whole lot of in the early game. It's like they straight up spoil the end bosses of the game. They're like, yeah, the other characters don't matter, though. We'll dedicate several pages, though, to explaining mechanics that we're not actually going to explain. Alright. Again, still not bad as far as guides go. So far, this is... I haven't seen anything in terms of like how bad the Armored Core 3 guide is. That still holds the unique distinction in my book of just like how on earth did they get it this wrong? Where at one point they have one mission where they've pretty much mashed 4 different missions into one thing. They've got pictures from 3 different ones and they're reporting on a 4th different one. It's kind of amazing. So I think at some point we'll do AC3 as well. And I like to imagine Raid with the voice of that one guy who did, what's it called? The End of the World? Like, this is the Earth. It's round. It's pretty fantastic, you might say. Wrong. Like, weird, I don't know if it's like, Swedish or whatever accent. Just over here, it's like, oh, these sons of a bitches. I need to see this guide and cry. I mean, okay, there's... crap. Do you know the... are you on the YouTube channel? I forgot. Like, there's a video I put a little while ago. There's a guy that... okay, the video was specifically on the project to get all the guides together for the Ogre series. And there is a... You know what? Hang on. I think it might just be faster if I look it up. One sec. Hopefully this doesn't lag. Sorry if it does. Alright, then Raid tells us to go kill everybody. Alright, let's see. In Ishiro, you come upon a building where the prince and his 2 escorts are being held. Untie the 3 and discuss the situation with them. Good, that is totally a thing I'm participating in. One of the prince's men, a knight named Raid, is less than pleased with the rescue. He's even less pleased when he discovers that you and your troops are all rookies and that you are the only ones who were dispatched to rescue Prince Yumel, because the king wants him dead. You know. That's a bit of a thing. Alright, here it is. Alright, so this is a link somebody had sent me, like, a couple months ago, I think. And by the way, that wasn't meant to, oh, you know, subscribe and follow and make sure to push the bell thing, because, honestly, yeah. But that was more of a, this is where the thing is kind of situation. Let's adjust this. I didn't realize how off-center it was. Sorry about that. Alright, so. Okay. However, he offers you a chance to prove you're worthy. They put W-O-U-R instead of W-O-U''R-E. Anyway, prove your worth by conquering the rest of the rebel forces in the area. You aren't sure such drastic measures are necessary, but Raid insists that you eliminate everyone who opposes the royal family. Okay. You leave, but Raid is not quite alone, as the rebel who held him captive tries to sneak away. Raid slays him in cold blood. Prince Yumel's upset by this, and he seems he's completely controlled by his 2 escorts. Your mission objectives have changed now. Oops. Hang on. Let's go back to the game real quick. You already... Let's see. You must capture the rebel headquarters located in the Volmus mine. You're already a good way toward capturing it. Move your troops to Eldrist if you haven't already, You'll then control more than half of the map, destroy the group attacking Eldritch, and once you send your armies to the southwest, liberate Zyria. This should leave only the Volmus Mine for your troops to attack. As with the previous mission, move in with everything you have in the area. With your units surrounding Volmus Mine, send in your character to confront the enemy leader. You offer them a chance to throw down their weapons and surrender, but they don't listen to you. They didn't listen. Sorry, there's this version of Monkeys on the Bed that my kids listen to every night, and it's this guy with, I think it's like an Ethiopian accent or something. And like, oh, the silly doctor jump on the bed. He didn't listen to his own advice. It's like, it's just funny. You can tell, that guy's just loving his job. Alright. Oh, but they still didn't listen. So, alright. By the way, this right here, also a trap. Because even with their stats reduced by fatigue and everything else, you can go in and they can still potentially circle around you because the retreat mechanic in this game is nutso. Yeah, so, like, they can... The way that they retreat kind of depends on the angle that you attacked from, or that they attack you from, and... Like, sometimes you just see units get repelled in really funky ways, where they'll basically end up getting farther with their attack because you attack them. So you said there was something about an Armored Core guide I don't see on the list? Is it not there anymore? Because that's where I got the Armored Core 3 guide from. Let me check again. Because it should be that list. Was it this one? No, it must be the other. Hang on, is it? Is it really? Weird. Hang on one quick second here, because I think it might be the other one then. Shoot, my bad. Yeah, let me go get the other one. All right. Sorry, it'll just take me a second here. Sorry if anything starts auto-playing. Alright, start it and immediately mute it. Alright, let's look at these comments here. I know it's got to be one of them. Where is this dang thing? Alright. I don't see it on here. It might be this one, actually. Hang on one sec. Is this it? Please be the one. Yeah, there we go. You wanna... Oh, shoot. Hang on, I broke it. I broke it. I clicked the wrong button. Everything is exploded. Okay, here. If you want to see some truly... Let's see, why isn't there a game facts guide by me about this game? Because reasons. Also, I think I broke chat. Alright, let's see if this makes it pop up again. I don't know if that just deleted what was on screen or not. Yeah, there we go. Alright. There we go. It's just going to look a little weird on the video, but that's just fine. That's the one. So if you want to see some hilarious jank, take a look at the Armored Core 3 one. It's pretty bad. Like, I feel like maybe 3 separate people who have never played the game were just trying to write a guide for it. It's pretty fantastic. There's a few other ones. By a few, I mean there's an absolute, like, buttload of different stuff on here. It's kind of ridiculous. I forget if it had any... I don't think it had any Tactics Ogre on here, or Ogre Battle or anything. But if you're looking for just a ton of different guides, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot in there. Dang it, I shouldn't have exited the window, because now I can't thank the game. You know what? You know who you are. Thank you for those. Those links are awesome. Alright, there we go. Let's see if Eliza manages to kill off this one without accidentally causing a game over. So if you can beat their leader, then you can get somewhere, but usually they'll just out-heal you. Like that. Which is annoying, because in order to kill them then, you have to try and retreat, and thankfully, due to a lucky crit, looks like we're going to be just fine. Also, in a little bit of a side note of different challenge runs, was mentioning wanting to try doing that like YOLO run, as it was called, for Outer Worlds, but that would be just off PS4, so I don't quite know how that's going to work. See, watching on mobile, so I need to close the stream for a minute as it glitched out the YouTube app. Sorry. Sorry. But yeah, no. Honestly, I love reading old guides. Even when there's mistakes, it's fun to read what they thought was a good idea. See which part sucks, and wait a minute, that's the official guide. Hell yeah, that's the official guide. That's a lot of old official guides. And frankly, most of this stuff is out of print, so... I mean, I kind of figure it's fair game. Okay, so a while ago I was talking to Pan over at the SRPG Discord and stuff like that, in terms of what's allowed and what's not. So technically speaking, I can't like directly post a lot of these things on at least the SRPG side of things. So we'll have to figure out some other way to kind of unofficially post what's going on with all those guides. But yeah, the whole copyright side of things is stupid as far as guides go, because let's be honest, nobody's paying for this stuff anymore. And a digital version isn't really going to be going on any collector's shelf or anything. It's literally just for, just for laughs for the most part. I mean, I saw one run of somebody doing something like this for, I think it was like Pokemon Leaf Green or something like that, and half the stuff they were advising was just copy-pasted and or didn't exist. Oh, hang on, got a call coming in. Okie dokie, and back. Funnily enough, well, a project we're looking into right now that might potentially help us get a house at some point. Which is funny because we're basically looking to get a house in order to cut down expenses. Because, well, yeah. It's a strange world we live in. Anyway, how do you get a bookmark webpage on mobile? I forget. You hit the 3 buttons at the top, and there should be a option to favorite. But yeah, you gotta love the. Is it a Phantasma? Well, I don't know. I think Project Phantasma's in there if that's what you're asking. But yeah, no, like the whole housing situation over here is kind of insane. Because we've been trying to find some way to like live without neighbors for a while at first, and then it became, hey, we could actually have dogs, and then it became, hey, we could maybe not get pestered for stupid crap this year. To, hey, it would be nice to not have neighbors throwing trash in our friggin' patio. To, hey, it would be nice if the drunken rhinos upstairs would stop, thundering around at all hours of the night and waking up the baby. To, well, it just would be nice to not be getting a rent increased by $600 frickin' dollars over nothing. I was going for a pun? Gotcha. But, like, around here, rent is legit, even with all expenses, just having a mortgage is less than our base rent. Live next to Slobs and Karen. It varies. For a while, there were some college dude bros living upstairs. Then there was, well, a nice Indian family that I could never understand how on earth they made so much noise, because they had like 3 pieces of furniture and one very quiet kid, yet it always sounded like that somebody was holding a monster truck rally up there. And then we had one group that I could swear was like European tourists and or spies, because they just sort of all moved in, were weirdly well kept, but for some reason had no furniture and never spoke to anyone, which was just straight up creepy. We've had some, different folks. They might like to dance a lot, I guess. But I've had all kinds of interesting neighbors. But no, lately we've had a thing where after you stay at this complex a few years, they do this thing where they just try to force you out. It's something a lot of landlords do, but I've never seen it this, quite this blatant. Where pretty much everybody that we spoke to that's been here for more than like 3 years, give or take, it just ran into a situation where they're suddenly being forced out, for one reason or another, or suddenly they're just getting strange increases to their rent, or suddenly their water bill is way higher than it should be, and they just blame it on whoever, or, suddenly they're getting surprise inspections for stuff. It's really weird. Well, actually, it's not. It's really not weird at all. It's just standard landlord stuff, quite frankly. I used to be in the management business myself. It's just something they do. I mean, I mostly handled paperwork and stuff like that, so never had to actually handle an eviction unless they deserved it, but which sounds like a really weird way to put it, but I mean, like, deserved it as in, like, I usually handled the, when you get a property from taxes and stuff like that, like when you legally own the place, but somebody else is still squatting in there. And I think probably the craziest one I've seen was this case where this guy had basically set up a bunker in this house. So we had called to see if a patrol car would go there, and they wouldn't go because they're like, yeah, a few weeks ago somebody got shot at from one of the windows, so no. So like, okay, that's off to a great start. So, and I should probably clarify, these things were like $500 houses. You could get a 3-bed, 2-bath for $500, so while that lasted, a lot of folks went for it. But yeah, no, this guy just had his little bunker situation set up there. And so finally, after a lot of arguing and whatever else, he just comes in his trench coat, starts yelling from the balconies. No one's ever going to remove him, so, legally speaking, you can change the locks if it's your property, so just changed the locks when he left, and he kind of got upset and left. And that was about it. But yeah, the entire place had all the walls stripped out. They had all kinds of barricades set up in there. For some reason, they had a bunch of disassembled lawnmowers. Let's see. What city are you in that you're pulling that? Said I've been living above you. Where was it that cheap? That was Detroit in the, like, the worst times. Like, back when stuff had gotten so bad that, like, people were just emigrating en masse from there. Where the city got flooded for quite a while just because the infrastructure wasn't there to hold up to stuff anymore. Entire blocks of the city were just losing power randomly. Over time, a lot of investors came in to the point where, you know, all the cheap property people got forced out. Thankfully, they finally fixed that system. Like, sure, it was one of these cases. It was one of these cases where you can be out of the job but happy about it. Because as much as I was raised to do properties over there and stuff like that, honestly, I liked the stories behind the houses, but Jesus, dude, the kinds of messed up stuff you'd occasionally see in those houses was like, it was depressing as all hell. But it was very interesting to see some of the stuff you'd run into there. See, Detroit, never mind. That interested in seeing a place that cheap. See, Detroit's a weird situation because in some cases you can get some really cool stuff for next to nothing. Like, every year when they held the auctions, they had these old manor homes that were like 6 bedrooms. You could get that stuff for 10 grand. That was typically the going price on those things, and we're talking about like a friggin' 5,000 square foot house, and not even in a bad area. So, yeah. Alright, so let's see what the guide says to do from here. Alright, as in the first mission, you must eliminate the leader, Quad, to win. Is that actually his name? Quad? I gotta see that. Or Gui. Okay, the name says Gui, the guide says Quad. If the leader is still alive at the end of the fight, your own forces will be pushed back. Attack the leader with everything you have to complete the victory. When the battle ends, the enemy leader, Quad, not Qui anymore, asks you to kill him. Anything Raid has in store for him will be much, much worse. Waiting for Volmus Mine for Prince and his escort to arrive. While the Prince thanks you for saving him and conquering the rebels in the area, Raid is still not pleased. He wanted Quad dead, not alive, and he isn't willing to listen to what the rebel leader has to say. But Quad talks anyway, and attacks the nobility for treating the common people terribly. I believe that's what that says. Again, crunchy text. Raid is offended and draws his sword, while Yumel wants to stop him. He doesn't have a chance. You also try to stop him, and Raid hits you before approaching Quad. Just as he is about to strike, a knight comes in and deflects the blow. Meanwhile, a maiden approaches and unties Quad. They escape together. And the knight prevents the prince and his escort from leaving. By the way, the left side of the page is just kind of blurry, so I can't quite read that exactly. Finally, a wizard approaches and paralyzes you all, covering the retreat of the rebels, while Raid and Jill? Jill run after the bandits. Yumil tells you that there's nothing he could do to prevent the violence. Okay. Raid did nothing wrong. Oh wait, no, it is Quad. So why was he Qui that one time? Or Gui. Screw it. Give up trying to figure out this name situation. Then he kicks him in the nuts a few times. Got some elevation on that one. So yeah, I wonder if part of the reason that... So, okay, I should probably take a step back here. Recently started writing an article thing trying to go into why exactly it is that Mitsuno disowned this and Knight of Lotus, and had this weird thought come to mind over the weird way that deities are handled in it, which didn't quite pan out like I thought it would. It's still kind of some interesting stuff to see there, but this particular part, I kind of wonder if maybe they were mad that they borrowed some stuff from FFT. Like a lot of the animations, like the flying and falling over animation, the fact that they use the Zodiac Stones in this one, feels like there's a lot of little bits here and there that they kind of tried to seemingly reference and or lift. Like, originally I thought FFT might have done it afterwards, but it turns out this one came out afterward, or after it, so meh. Any dang ways. Also, yeah, no wonder he missed. There's no actual animation for... Wait a minute. Actually, no, I think the game just crashes if you try to take away his weapon. I think he just has a default sword that he tries to use. There really is no punching data. See, I'd quote Raid, but the language filter would ban me immediately for every word in the sentence. Trying to censor my language, those sons of a beaches. Again, just weird accent on him is just the best. Pling. Gotta love that somehow he covered all that stuff up in a cloak. It's like, what's that gonna do? Also a little bit surprising that it's green, not purple, but whatever. Also a little bit funny that this one isn't Gilbert. I mean, Gilbert's here with them, but the Beastmaster that they chose to use as a generic. Alright. Over here with their generic green robes. And apparently very high dodge stats. And sword that just suddenly magically appeared on his back. The world's most impossible draw there. Also an AoE move that does not work that way, but okay. Okay, there's one thing that I really enjoyed for Night of Lotus, which is the fact that every time that somebody uses an ability in that game, it seems to legit be how it works in the game. Vicious enemy destined. I know, so vicious, so vicious. He blocked one thing and ran away. So vicious. Let's see. Euronime Raid is still one of my favorite names from Obi. Every time I have a TK or a chaotic generic, he's named Raid in TO. Fair. Is his name actually Euronime? Or Euronome? Or... Is that the thing? He makes everybody else feel small. So he says Euronome. Rude. That's just rude. Anyway, let's see. Wait up, almost mine for the prince and his escort to arrive. Blah, blah, blah. Just as he's about to strike, Knight comes in. More stuff happens. Eventually a wizard happens. Okay, so not that. Moving on. Chapter 1, Introduction to the Dude with the Mustache. Okay. Oh, crap. You know what? I think we gotta wrap it up for today. See, also, I think Gilbert was flying around in his wyverns having fun while all this was going on. True. True, he's just doing flybys. Just over there, maybe having himself a snack or something. Just up there with his popcorn, like, man, I'm sure glad that isn't me. That dude almost died. But yeah, so far, as far as the introduction goes here, not bad. I have to say, as far as the errors that I was expecting, it's better than I expected. We've had a couple names that were a little unclear. We've had one part of the guide that was legit just plain wrong, and we've had some odd advice on going to capture neutral strongholds every single time for some dumb reason. But yeah, so far, not as bad as I would have hoped. So I have to mess around and play this a bit myself. It's a dang fun game. Should definitely do it. See, was he or was he busy writing letters to Canopus? I saw a bird yesterday and thought of you. Oh, man. I believe it. Believe it. Although, okay, why? What is it about the writing in this game that every time they try to pull a, like bro moment between the characters, it just kind of wind up coming off as homoerotic? Like, you've got Canopus and Gilbert that just come off that way. You've got Magnus and Yumel in this one that repeatedly come off that way. You've got, who is it? Friggin', what's his face? I'm trying to remember. In the original TO, there was, what was it? Can I friggin' not remember that dude's name? I don't know. It was less of a thing in TO. Say, what about Aiden's Chronicles for the First Mage? What? Oh, I don't... If I know what that is, it isn't coming to mind. Whatever that is. But, any dang ways. Mostly, okay, the reason that I bring that up is because thinking like Gilbert and Canopus, the thing that should be coming to mind right now is like if you've played Legend of Dragoon, like you've got Dart and Lavitz in that one. Basically that. Like the thing that should be coming to mind. Instead, it's like, haha, San Francisco. It's an N64 game. Wait. Okay, apparently the term N64 is not allowed, as I had to add it as a permitted term. Nintendo copyright has gotten that bad. N64 is just permabanned by default. Wow. Anyway, that's a new one. You're no longer allowed to say Nintendo. They'll just come down and throw you in Nintendo Alcatraz or Azkaban, whatever. Alright, can we actually promote anybody? Alright, replace some soldiers. Try to understand how to change classes in this game. Realize that is an impossible thing to do. Oh, these can become clerics, therefore they can lead squads. Amazing. So, that has something to do with derogatory remarks that could be inferred? What? I don't get it, but if you say so. But, yeah. Get rid of the Amazons, because they're not amazing. We'll turn them into clerics that are also not amazing, but, we'll allow other people to promote into Amazons. Funny thing about the promotion system in this game, by the way, if you don't keep your default gear for your Amazons and fighters, no one can promote out of a soldier class into an Amazon or fighter because they don't have the gear to do it. Meaning they will seemingly permanently be stuck at 99 experience. Just, kind of a funny thing there. Alright, remove character. Let's go and remove one of these. Or, yeah, just give her own squad. Let's go add some soldiers to this. There we go. Add some soldiers to this one. I'm just going to put them right there. Yeah, it's not optimal by any means whatsoever. Why this lady didn't have double the soldiers, I don't even know. Whatever, that's fine. And then we just create a new squad. Where's the button for that? There we go. Form a unit. Make a squid. Put it back here. Make this sweet arrow formation. That'll never work out. Alright. Yeah, there we go. I mean, N64 is now added to the terms. It specifically says added permitted term N64. For whatever reason. Anyways, gotta wrap it up for now, because I gotta get ready for this this job interview that... It's not really an interview, it's supposed to be training, but one lady was telling me it was scheduled for another day, another person was telling me it wasn't. So, whatever. I'm gonna assume it's still happening, so gonna go get that going. So you guys have a good one, and I'm hoping to do more of this ASAP.